Hey guys, Justin Calora, Tampa Fitness Factory. So I'm a corrective exercise specialist with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. Today we're gonna go over curtsy lunges. Not really. What we're actually gonna go over is why I think you should not do the curtsy lunge at all, ever, in any kind of way, and 3 exercises that you can do instead that are far superior and are gonna give you much better results without putting yourself in danger with the curtsy lunge. Stick around. See you guys soon.
It's honestly us against the world. We're the perfect team. You're my dream, and I just want it. Can't get to myself. Can't get to myself. Can't get to myself.
Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is look at what a curtsy lunge actually is. We're going to go through the exercise, show you why I don't like it and why I don't recommend it to any of my clients. And then we're going to go through the 3 exercises that I chose that I think are far superior and going to give you the best results for building those glutes, quads, the stability in your hips. Much better exercises to choose from and go from there. Okay guys, before we do anything else, let's look at what a curtsy lunge actually is. So we're doing a curtsy lunge, standing on one foot. It's a modified reverse lunge. So instead of coming straight back, doing a reverse lunge, curtsy lunge, we're stepping off to one side, going behind us. I've seen it done a couple different ways. I've seen it done with a frontal or lateral squat and then coming back into the curtsy lunge. Apparently that's the more advanced way to do it. Let me show you why I don't care for this exercise, why I don't let any of my clients do it, and why I usually tell people not to if I see them doing it in my facility. So curtsy lunge, as you're stepping through, we're putting our knee in a really delicate state. We're stepping, coming back behind, and what's happening on an anatomical level is this femur is internally rotating and my tibia fibia is externally rotating on the leg. That's putting a lot of torque on this knee, a lot of rotational force. My knees aren't meant to rotate. My hips rotate, tons of degree of rotation. My ankles rotate, knees not so much. They flex and extend. There is a small degree of rotation, but not a lot. So mainly I see females doing this. Guys, not really so much. Women are doing, I don't know why, I don't know where it came from, I don't know who started it, I don't know why it became so popular. I guess it's fun to do. But really, if you think of the anatomy of it, women tend to go into what we call knee valgus. And what knee valgus is this internal rotation of the femurs. And it usually shows up when you do squats. So if you're doing a squat and you find yourself and the knees are collapsing, your knees almost knocking together, and followed with that is usually feet turning out, feet flattening on the inside, externally rotating. All these things are usually highlighted. They're highlighted even more when I put clients on one leg and do some asymmetrical training. This is really not your exercise. I don't recommend the curtsy lunge to anybody, but especially if your knees already rotate in and you're showing an overactivity of the adductor complex and a weakness in the glute medius. Definitely not something we want to do. We want to do the opposite. We want to strengthen the glute medius. We want to strengthen the glute max. We want to keep from that knee rotating, which is the whole reason I don't like this exercise. So let's look at 3 exercises we can do instead to strengthen our legs and primarily our glutes to give us the results that we're looking for. So the first exercise we're going to do, I would say just do a normal, straight, reverse lunge. Go back, good form, squeezing glutes at the top, but that's a little boring, so I figured we'd add something to it. This is a Val slide, or this particular brand, Synergy slider. Honestly, you can get a couch mover from Walmart for like $2, so you don't have to buy the expensive brand. All we're doing with this, stepping on with one foot, standing, doing a good form reverse lunge, keeping my weight nice and centered, bending the knee, and then coming up. What I like to do is a little different with this exercise as opposed to most people where they try to keep all the weight on the front leg. I like to do the reverse lunge, come down, everything's relaxed, especially the glute. On the way up, I like to actually squeeze, activate, and push myself up and squeeze both glutes at the top as tight as I can. That's giving me more glute max activation. I'm getting the stability in the front leg. So I'm working glute medius in the front leg for stability. I'm not letting my knee collapse inward when I do this. That's what we're trying to stay away from. So I'm actually pushing the knee out, nice and straight, good form, squeezing the glutes to come up through this exercise. That's my #1 exercise to replace curtsy lunges. Let's look at the next 2. Okay, so the next exercise I'm going to choose to replace the curtsy lunge is going to be a lateral squat or a frontal squat. We already hinted to this earlier. So with the lateral squat or the frontal squat, all I'm doing, stepping off to the side, loading the weight on one leg. If I get a little more center, you can see this better. So I'm stepping, loading all my weight on one leg. The distance you step determines how hard this is going to be. Big thing, if I draw dots from my ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder all the way down and connect the dots, I want this to be a nice straight line. You can do two things. You can go to this leg and stand up here for strength, or if you want to work this more stability, there's a little added bonus, you can come that side, line everything up, push off, and come to stability and balance on the one leg. So for the stability side of it, you would come, line everything up, push off, squeeze, activate glute on the leg you're standing on, and go through stability. If you're doing more of a strength exercise, you're gonna step, isolate, strengthen, and then come up. Make it a little more challenging. You can add weight. I usually hold a goblet, either dumbbell or kettlebell. So for strength, we're coming here, loading, and if you go further into it, that's where it gets more challenging. And stand up. That's my number 2 exercise to replace the curtsy lunge. Let's look at the third. Okay guys, so the number 3 exercise I'm going to choose is going to be the single leg deadlift. This is one of my favorite exercises. It's great for activating glute max. Glute max, largest muscle in the body, also the most underutilized muscle in the body. It's also going to hit those stabilizers of your hips, so everything that you pretty much would want to work in glutes and posterior side, you get while doing this exercise. So what a single leg deadlift is, I'm standing on the one foot, I'm leaning into the same motion as a deadlift. You can do it arms down, you can do it arms up. There's a lot of different variations. So I'm coming here, hips are nice and flat. Try not to be rotated either way. So line everything up, nice straight legs, coming up, and I'm squeezing and activating glutes. That's the biggest thing people miss. So I see this I see this single leg deadlift, people go through and they stop here and they go right back into it and they're never getting out of this hip flexion. So we're coming into the SLDO, coming up, squeezing the glute, activating. That's going to be my number 3 exercise, guys. I'm Justin Calora with Tampa Fitness Factory. Make sure you like and subscribe. See y'all next time.
Through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on